Happy Hanukkah! Of course, I'm going to show you making latkes. Now, I have this great cookbook. It's really old. Well, I don't know if I should say it's really old, but it's a lot older than me. It's from before they put when books were published in the cover. No, it's probably from the 60s, perhaps. Anyway, so we have this cookbook, and it says you need some potatoes, you need an onion, you need egg, you need some flour, salt, pepper. It's not a big deal. So really, the thing about making latkes is, what do? Do you buy some hash browns, some frozen hash browns, and assemble them and then fry them up? What do you do? Well, I am going to use my food processor, and I'm going to take some big potatoes, about 4 medium potatoes, and a yellow onion, and I'm going to make them into mush. And one of the things that's important about making latkes is that you do need to, when you grate the potatoes and onion, you need to let it stand for 10 minutes and let the liquid rise to the top and remove the liquid and before you stir in the eggs and the other stuff so that you get the liquid out of there. Otherwise, you're going to have kind of a problem. So I'm going to do all that, and then I'll show you my mixture, and I'll show it to you when it's all ready, and then I'll show you how I fry them. And but before I do that, I wanted to talk about Tiger Woods, because this is a special holiday about light and miracles, and I just have to say something about Tiger Woods. When I was at the checkout, a girl asked me if I knew what was going on with Tiger Woods, and I said, "Oh, I think I kind of have heard." And what I thought I would say is that it's really easy for us, and I will cook while I talk. It's really easy for us, I think, to say, "Oh, that guy, he sucks. You know, he did all this bad stuff." But what I wanted you to think about, just a food for thought here, is, and no, I'm not one of the girls that he had an affair with. And if I were, I wouldn't admit it. But anyway, you can see from the pictures of the different girls that it could be anyone. But anyway, no, what I want to say seriously is that, you know, none of us know, or at least most of us don't know what it's like to be a super talented person, athlete, and we don't know what it's like to have that much money and to have that much pressure in our daily lives. And we don't know what it's like to have that degree of talent. So I don't want to say I feel protective of him. I don't feel protective of him at all, but I do feel really sorry for him, because I think that, you know, like anybody who has gone through trouble in their marriage or in their relationships, you know, it's easy to just judge them. And certainly it's really easy to judge Mr. Woods. But I just want to point out that, you know, people, you know, I think people who are multimillionaires, who have an extremely rare, incredible gift of some sort, some kind of talent, and, you know, they have a job where they have unimaginable pressure on them to perform. I think those people can judge Tiger. I think most of us have pretty easy lives, and we have no idea what his life is like at all. And we just look at him and think that he sucks. And the funny thing is, the joke's on us, because how do we know if we were not him that we would do the same thing? Because actually, the fact is, if we were him, we would do the same thing. That's the definition of being him. He did it. If we were him, we would have done it. So anyway, that's why I feel sorry for him, because I guess I'm thankful that, you know, I'm not in that situation. And I really do wish with all my heart for a Hanukkah miracle for Tiger Woods and his family. And then I'll show you more about the latkes in a minute. Okay, here's my batter, which I used a food processor, and I pulverized the potatoes and an onion. And here's a tip about potatoes. See how nice and white that is? It's going to turn brown very quickly. You can kind of see along the edges, the first part. And the water's coming up, so I'm going to wait 10 minutes and get all the water off of there before I add the egg, the salt, pepper, and flour. And then I can start frying up these things. But anyway, what I wanted to say about potatoes is if you're making something where it's not going to be fried and dark brown, you want to put lemon juice in so that it retains this nice white color. Otherwise, it's going to be really gross looking. So if you're making a potato kugel, you really need to do that. Okay, so I'm just going to come back in 10 minutes and show you how much water is there, and then I will get it out of there, and then I will finish making my batter. Okay, I got all the water out of here, and now I've added a couple of eggs that I beat before I added them, a teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. You can add a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, but I can't find any, so I'll do with that tonight. And now the last thing I'm going to do before I start frying up these puppies is I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons of flour. You can make these on Passover if you don't use baking powder and you use matzah meal. It rendered about 2 tablespoons of water. I think if I had more patience, I could get another tablespoon out of it, but I think we'll be okay. So I'm going to add the flour and we'll get to cooking. What I did is I put a big frying pan with some oil in it, and when it gets really hot, go to town. And I'll show you what the latkes look like when I get to cooking them in terms of size. I'll probably drop in about, I don't know, 2 to 3 tablespoons for each latke into the oil. And I will cook them, I will flatten them down so they're really flat, and then I will cook them until they're really dark brown. And they probably don't need to go in the oven after that, although it is traditional, I believe, to cook your latkes and to go ahead and put them in the oven to kind of make them even that much crispier at the end. I usually just fry the heck out of them so that you don't have to. But in any case, we're having an interesting dinner tonight of all kinds of different kinds of foods. So I'll show you my finished product in a minute. This is my finished product. I'm cooking and everybody's about to eat, so see you later. Happy Hanukkah.